love the 600. I couldn't bring it here, you know, it's quite heavy to carry, but this is what the rig looks like. The K10D with the BG2 grip and the 600mm lens. So all these long shots you see are shot with this lens. This one's shot with the K100D and the DA21mm. And it's wide enough to create a little bit of a view. You know, I can grab the length of the surfboards, pull in the landscaping, and still keep the subject with a lot of detail. And this shot is, you know, I want to be equal opportunity. Girls surf too. They surf pretty well. She surfs better than me, probably. And this shot I included because a lot of people ask me, you know, guys that are maybe stepping up from a Digicam, or who are familiar with, or they're used to, you know, hey Mark, why is it that when I'm trying to take a picture of my kid, he's running around, I try to take the photo, and by the time I get the image, it's not what he was doing. The beauty of SLR photography is what you see in the viewfinder when you push that button, that's what you're going to get. So the shutter lag is nil. I anticipated to get this shot as soon as you initiate the maneuver. I hit the button, boom, and that's what you get. There's no lag. You get what you want.
Tomorrow?
This is a surfer from Western Australia. I mean, what's technically interesting on this photo in terms of surfing is he's riding a little 5-foot fish-sized egg board at the Bonsai Pipeline. I mean, he's drawing out the wave. This is the tail end of the wave, but he actually got barreled in this wave, came out, and it's pretty amazing. If you're into surfing, you would understand what I mean. It's technically hard to ride those boards in these waves that you see. But this is the K10D with the 600mm. And here's an example of a barrel. Like if you're not familiar with surfing, surfers ride in, on the outside, on top of, above, around, all over the wave. So I wanted to include this sequence because it shows the speed of the camera, and I was able to extract a lot of detail just in the 1 or 2 seconds that I shot. So typically he's covered up and he's on his way out. I'm starting to see his face. I like how the continuous focus tracking with the K10D just keeps him in focus. And now he's on his way out. And that's within less than a second. I reeled off three frames. Here's another portrait shot. This is Makua with the 600mm. And this is my friend Tamayo Perry about to paddle out. He's got a pretty interesting story though, because he was injured last year at the Pipe Masters. A novice was out there, shouldn't have been out there. He let his board go over a 20-30 foot wave, and the board just sliced across his head. But he's back a year later. He had stitches and he has his knee banged up, but he's still a good surfer, still competing. And this is a 600mm with the f4. I actually shot this at about f7.1 or f8 just so I can retain some water detail. You know that it's water and it's still sand. But it's stopped down enough and open enough so you can isolate the subject. And if you don't know what that means, you can ask me. I'll tell you. Who knows what that means? Hey, some photographers out there, all right. And this is a photo of Australian Jake Patterson going right at the Bonsai Pipeline. You know what I like about this photo? Look at all that white detail. If you're not really too into photography or you don't know too much, camera meters are pretty basic. And the old school rule was, what I believe, if I'm wrong, you guys can correct me, but it will try to mathematically correct all the white value to somewhat simulate 18% gray. Now, if you typically shoot a photo like this, that's a lip coming over him. He should be in the shade. It should be dark. But the fact that I like the sophistication of the Pentax metering, that it was able to, you know, without me implementing too much, I got all that detail and dynamic range without even having to worry about it being underexposed. All the surfing shots are very raw, that I just converted to JPEG. And there's really no enhancements to it. I just, you know, a camera's meter basically wants to turn that bright white until like an 18% gray. So I'll just bump up the highlight just a little bit, just to make sure the white is white. And this photo is this sequence I'm about to show you is also to exemplify the speed and the accuracy of the K10D. This was a sequence of 2 guys who shouldn't have been taking off together, but they accidentally did. And within a second, we got all the detail. Enough to even see the expression on Bobby's face telling him, hey man, this is my wave. Let's go back, let's look at it. And the interesting thing, when I saw this happen, as long as I've been surfing, and especially waves like this, I can't imagine how they kept that much control. And nobody got hurt. So, I'm happy with that. This is Luke Steffen out of Australia. He's a friend of mine. He's going backdoor at the pipe. Backdoor means you're going right. I just like this shot for the colors. just punches, even his board logos, they punch. And here's another shot I wanted to include to exemplify the action of the K10D, how fast and responsive it is. And typically, like if you want to know my little secrets on how I shoot surfing, I like to stop down a bit. That means stopping down, like narrowing the iris to allow for more accurate focus. Because when you're shooting in bright daylight, especially when you got this much white light reflecting back at you, you will easily yield 1/1000 per faster. A lot of guys who approach sports photography figure, well, hey, I got to shoot with a fast shutter speed, and then that's all they concentrate on. But if you're in broad daylight, you can actually shoot aperture priority, and you will maintain a shutter speed to freeze action. And these are some lifestyle shots. These are a few Australian pros, Mick Fanning, Jake Patterson. I like this shot because the colors punch. This was also this is the 77mm 1.8. And you know, girls like to watch surfers. I like to watch girls. And these guys, I don't know who's into surfing. Who can name? If you can name any one of these guys, I'll give you a treat. These are some old school 1970s, 80s Hawaiian pros. Anybody know? Anybody know the names? Anybody know Derek Ho? Or Dane Kealoha? Or Tony Moniz? Hey, I get a prize. Yeah. Hey, you get a prize anyway. If you ask, I'll give you one of these books. Read about some more photography. But I like these guys. These guys they're old, yet they can still take it. They can take these waves. And I include this photo because these are two of my favorite surfers. If you're into surfing, this is Kelly Slater and Robert Shotton splitting away. Shot with a K10D 600mm f4. And this is Andy Irons doing an air floater over a sand pit. This is the same scenario like that last wave. That's all sand at the bottom. When waves like this break, he's probably only got about 2 feet a foot to 2 feet of water.